Hi Libra, and welcome to your reading. This is a reading for March 2022 for Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Mars. I will talk about the astrology a little bit while I'm doing a Celtic cross reading. I will also pull some charms in the end of the reading, and I will redo the Astro dice for this English version of the reading. I did this in German earlier, that's why the cards are already out. Check out my description box if you want to also see my German channel and all the information that you need. So let's get started. We have a full moon in Virgo on the 18th. We have a new moon in Pisces in the beginning of the month, or we had one. So there is definitely a good time coming up for switching up routines, maybe looking a little closer at your health routine, at your nutrition, at your workout routine, everything that concerns the body, and also maybe being more precise about certain things, being more clear, being more planned out, having a good plan, having a good time management, scheduling ability, tool or something, and really get rid of the stuff that you don't need, having a little bit of a cleanup too. That's all Virgo energy. Especially with this full moon, it's really a good time to trying to let go of certain things that really hinder you or that don't work in your routine, maybe just course correct, and to invite in new things. But it's really more about letting go and getting rid of stuff that you don't need. So spring cleaning, also perfect timing here with the full moon in Virgo. With Mars and Venus moving into Aquarius, this is trining you. It's an interesting energy for you, because I think for you it can be beneficial for communication. This is your third house, and for all kinds of development when it comes to higher thinking. So higher understanding of the development of humankind, really. So we can really pull that in and we can really exchange ideas. This is always an idea time when Mars and Venus, especially in conjunction, moving into a sign, there is a lot of bouncing off of ideas, a lot of a yin and yang energy, and balancing out like the doing and the receiving, the going into action and the sitting still. So that's all coming through here, especially in your reading with the Temperance card in reverse. I think there is a big moment of trying to balance out, heal certain ways of reacting to things. I want to say with the Temperance card, we are trying to really find a balance within, and the right amount, the right ingredient, the right solution also maybe to a problem. So I think what is happening here for you, it's very interesting. You've I think made a decision, or you had a moment in the past couple of weeks that there is something surrounding you, some opportunity or something you stepped into, also maybe a person or a connection where you feel like this is really not for me, or this is not the right environment for me, this is not really working for me, and I'm moving on, moving away. Like in your mind with the Six of Swords, you're already moving away, and I feel like now there's a time to also facing the consequences from that. So maybe even taking a step into a direction that maybe is uncomfortable, or communicating that step. So that's what I really see here. You're going here very intuitively. At the same time, you are definitely in a rational mind space. Your higher self is saying, yes, this is the right thing to do. It's a very logical thing to do. I'm very clear about this. This is my strategy. I think you're very capable of communicating your truth and being very clear and precise about what you think, and analyzing the situation as it is. At the same time, stepping into this conversation with yourself and maybe with others or with somebody on the outside. It might be still a head over heart decision that can trigger some wounds or some uncomfortable feelings, and that can be uncomfortable in general, but I think you're aware of that step. You're very aware with the Two of Swords as well, Two of Swords, Three of Swords, King of Swords, and it feels somehow like the mature thing to do, you know, and you want to do the right thing, you want to do the mature thing here with the King of Swords in your higher consciousness. We have the Page of Swords here in your fierce position, so there is maybe this bouncing off of ideas, energies with your younger self and with the adult self. So you might be a little afraid even to let your younger, more playful self through a little bit, that just says what they think, what's on their mind, who is eager to learn, eager to understand, eager to go into experiences, into conversations, into also bouncing off ideas, maybe being a little more revolutionary in their approach, a little more maybe even provocative in their approach, and a little more younger spirited, and at the same time your higher self is like, no, but I really do want to do the adult thing. The one thing doesn't really exclude the other, and I think this is important to mention here, that just because you're acting in an adult manner when it comes to strategy, thinking, analyzing, and implementing ideas, it doesn't mean that there is no young spirit in it allowed, you know. So I think it's important not to completely shut that out, and not to underestimate your younger self, and how you can also gain from this and learn from this. The King of Swords knows that he can learn from young ideas, and they kind of interact with each other, and I think it's really a balancing out of this young, fresh, fearless kind of curious energy and the established intellectualism within you that really knows step by step how to move forward, and has a theory and has a plan. But yes, this is really an intuitive moment also for you. Intuitively you feel like, okay, I cannot concentrate as long as I'm hanging in this mind space of being worried about the situation, or I don't wanna be held back by a feeling of dread or frustration or desperation. And I think you're not, because the Nine of Swords is in reverse. I think it's just as long as this is not completely able to move out of your life, like this fear of the dread even, or the fear of the psychological distress, you're having a hard time focusing. This is a little bit like more in the past, the Eight of Pentacles, so I think this is switching, this is changing, because you intuitively really feel like, okay, actually I don't have to stress over this, even though it's uncomfortable, even though I might trigger some old wounds, but I'm mature enough to really step into this. I don't have to stress over it, and I don't have to feel responsible too much about the Five of Cups being in reverse. I think is about, I don't have to stress too much about how this other person handles their disappointment. It's not, or these other people, you know, it's not your responsibility fully to heal or to be overly aware of how people feel. It's, of course, we should pay attention to people's feelings, and I think that's a social contract, and that's something that we should consider. But at the same time, you cannot, you know, just be on your like tiptoe around people's emotions all the time. They're kind of also responsible for themselves. Maybe there is a person, because this is external influences, who are either, there's two options, not wanting to face their disappointments or negative feelings, or they even don't, or they're already going through it. They don't even need you to you know, help them out with that, with their pain. Don't let, what I also see is, don't let an unwillingness of a person to deal with their emotions hurt you too much. This might trigger something maybe. that, you know, you don't want to watch people be in pain and not deal with their feelings properly. So that's kind of an empathic reaction to feel maybe that something gets triggered for you there. Okay, acknowledge that, you know, it is what it is, but it doesn't make you responsible for how they feel. And you don't try to save them or anything. I don't see a savior complex here or a savior thing. That would be more like the Knight of Swords, probably. The Knights are more like the savior types. So I don't see that here, that you're stepping into that role, but it might still be uncomfortable, you know. I don't think there is another person really causing you pain. So I don't think there's somebody coming in being like, I'm gonna break your heart. I don't see that at all. It's more like a way of how people deal with their feelings, or a way how people is responding emotionally might trigger something in you. With the Eight of Wands and the Nine of Wands, yes, this is very much like this step that says, okay, don't, how can I say that? Don't move too fast, you know. It doesn't have to be, the way you're seeing it right now is, okay, there is no movement forward, and kind of, I don't know what to gain from this experience other than to be guarded or something. There's also some maybe repressed passions that I see. Maybe there is, you know, there could be a person that, you know, it's just better for you to not indulge in this, but therefore you're just kind of having a repressed sexual moment here. With the Strength card in reverse, could happen too. So be careful about drama or dramatic energy not coming up too much. It might be, this month might be a little bit of a challenge to really control your inner beast or your inner drive, your instincts. But you are in such a strong mental space, I think, with the King of Swords, with the Three of Swords, the Page of Swords, and the Two of Swords. There's so many swords that help you keep calm and collected. I think within yourself you might feel some repressed passionate energy, but at the same time I think you're handling it really well, because you're able to rationalize it. And it might just be this kind of month where there have to be things said and done that are just uncomfortable. You know, it's just a month where you have to do kind of the grown-up thing, and it's just uncomfortable, but you kind of have to do the right thing. And therefore maybe this Strength card is having a little bit of a moment here in reverse, where you feel like, oh, you have to hold back, or it's a little tough to hold back what your instincts might want to let you do. It's like a counterintuitive kind of energy a little bit. But you know, at the same time, the cards say it's now important to step into this wound again, maybe to heal it a little bit. Sometimes you have to, you know, sometimes it helps, especially like with wounds on the skin and stuff. Sometimes surgeons and like plastic surgeons and stuff, they kind of make the wound or the scar work and make it a little bigger so it heals better. It looks nicer afterwards. So sometimes you have to maybe even poke into the scar a little bit. I know, uncomfortable, but I mean, this is like tough stuff here. I feel like you can do it. I feel like you can really do it, even if it's counter-instinctive, counter-intuitive. You have this elephant drawing here. This is by Rembrandt. And the elephant for me always talks about wisdom, but at the same time also good memory. So you do understand. You've come a long way also. They get very old, elephants. So you've come a long way. There is wisdom, there is knowledge, there is memory that you're working with. The memory you can trust your memory. It's also what it's saying to me. Don't feel like you see things very, very clear. Don't feel like, you know, people might want to fight you on this, or fight you on a decision, or try to, you know, talk you into something. You know what you know. You know what you've seen. Don't question your memories. Don't question your perception of things. Go with your intuition as well, but you can really trust your memory at this time. I think there will be a lot of communication with people that might not always be comfortable, but at the same time, it's gonna help you grow a lot, because in the German reading, and I will pull or use the Astro dice again, but there was a 8th house here that is really about growth and wisdom. And I think this is something that's coming through strongly, because there's also a Temperance card, which is a Sagittarius card, and 8th house is the Sagittarius house. So the Warmth card here is also really helpful, I think, in this case, because there is a lot of rationalizing, a lot of logic maneuvering, I want to say, and it's probably important to bring in a little bit more of the emotional side. We don't have any cups from your side, so yes, you're very detached emotionally right now, to do the right thing also. And this is a card to remind you to keep also the warmth towards yourself as well as towards others up. So it says, I focus on warmth and let it guide all my interactions. No matter how others behave, I choose to respond warmly. And this is important, you know, there's people who will trigger you, there's people who will come towards you and push your buttons. It's really not so much about you, you know, it's really much more about them. Of course, it's also about you, but often, you know, when people just act like a-holes, then it's probably not your fault. Okay, so no matter how others behave, I choose to respond warmly. With warmth, I can melt any icy exterior. I can soften any hard feelings. I can microwave any pizza. Today I adopt the saying, kill them with kindness, and turn myself into a warm and loving serial killer. That's a good card. Okay, let's use the dice once more. We have Aquarius. I did not mention that, I think, too much in the English reading. I did a little bit, but yeah, Venus and Mars moving into Aquarius. It is a detached energy from love and sexuality in a way, and a rationalizing of some sort, so that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of also detaching from your desires and rationalizing them. Because Mars is our desires, also our sexual kinks and stuff. So you might get a lot out of conversation right now. And again, we have Mars here. So yes, when it comes to archetypal male energy, when it comes to sexuality, when it comes to your sexual perception of things also, and what you want to stand in for, and your passionate desires, work with your memory, work with what you know, what you've learned. You've come a long way, and there's a lot of wisdom gained, I think, in your sexual encounters that you had maybe with a specific person or with other people. 9th house is coming through again. Okay, so this is very clear. This is really expanding your self towards others, maybe even taking a step out of the comfort zone as well is the 9th house for me, sometimes because expansion sometimes, so growing pains can occur. Expansion sometimes can be challenging, and growth can be challenging, and maybe this is even growing out of these old triggers, growing out and moving into those to see if you can, maybe very consciously moving into those to see if you can actually take it, you know, how much you can take, or how much is too much, how much is enough, where you have to also maybe step into an energy where you know this is not going to be comfortable for you or the other person, but you know this is what needs to be done, you know, to grow, to expand, to learn. yeah, there's a lot of expanding energy, especially with Mars here, Mars being in Aquarius and the 9th house as well. It all speaks a lot about forward expansion, growth. The Two of Swords and Aquarius is also really trying to see things from different perspectives, and also think visionary, you know, think creatively, think out of the box, think next level, think state of the art plus more. So this is avant-garde energy, you know, think experimental, think the unthinkable. That's kind of where we want to go with this energy. Yeah, there is some sort of repressed, I think, passion here, but there will be maybe a new flame lighted in a different direction. Maybe it's not even, I feel like it's not even a bad thing right now to maybe hold back on your instincts and on your passionate desires and stuff. We have green attachment pin here, so this is really, as long as things come from the heart, they are good, you know. It's like being pure at heart. It's like being your memories have shaped your heart, and your memories have built a solid, wise way to attach also. So learn from that, or take that with you. You've learned from that already. So a lot of clarity is coming through as well. There might be two different people who you are clarifying things with. You're coming from a place of love. There is the education charm as well. So I think practicing and educating yourself on warmth and gentleness and bringing those energies in. This is also the archetypal female energy. So that this is nurturing, warmth, receiving, also being receptive to things. There's so much clarity in that, and you will be very clear, crystal clear, through warmth, through openness, through giving and receiving warmth. You will really see where you want to invest and what's worth investing in. I think there might also people communicating to you they want to invest in you. That's on you to decide, you know, but there is tons of clarity here. I love this. There is tons of clarity with all these swords, all these crystals. It doesn't have to be always comfortable, but at least we have clarity, you know. We are not confused. We know what's going on. We can point our finger on it, and that's a very satisfying thing for an air sign, I have to say. So yeah, there is a chance to invest, I think, with this one dime. For me, that's also a sign of it. Sometimes a little goes a long way. And invest your love, invest your gentleness this month into the right direction. And even if people come towards you with a mean demeanor, you are established enough in your... There is some sort of sophisticated notion to this reading that I really like with the King of Swords here, with the elephant. There is a lot of sophisticated, wise, gentle energy that meets people with compassion out of a deep knowing, you know, out of a lot of experience, even though you might not even see that, you know. It might feel like, but I don't want that. But still, you know, take it as a qualification, take it as a talent. Don't waste, or don't waste this talent. It's even though you might not want to, right here with the Nine of Wands, Eight of Wands, or you might feel like, oh, but what do I gain from this? It's like, I don't feel like there is strength in this, or there is development in this. There is, because there's so much focus on clarity, growth, and learning. When it comes to love, it's especially so. It's also towards yourself. You know, you're turning gentle towards yourself, and to really stretch this out was important now because. For some reason I just didn't want to stop talking when I saw that the video, actually, because I have this thing with my camera where I up to a certain point I don't have to edit it, and then when it gets longer than, I don't know, 22 minutes, then I have to edit it. And I was like, well, this is really worth the edit, because it's absolutely focusing and concentrating on this clarity, expansion, warmth, and gentleness, and caring energy towards yourself, and seeing the returns in that. I feel like you're also gaining returns on that, being gentle to yourself. Maybe sometimes there's this healing month going on. There's this healing energy going on. I don't see that this Three of Swords is such a weird card, because it's, yes, there might be pain that's triggered, but I don't see new stuff. I don't see new wounds. It's more like, oh, there is still something that needs some love and care, some TLC within myself. And maybe this conversation or this interaction or this person or this situation brings that up. Oh, good, because then I can really pay attention to that and focus on that and give it the care that it needs. So this is what I really see here. Okay, so this is your reading, Libra. Thank you so much for being here. Be kind and gentle to yourself, and I hope you have a good month. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, and like, subscribe, comment. Okay, bye.